70% of people believe that if you don't have a website, you're not in business. Do you know that 64% of those people never even get to your website? They get to your Google My Business listing. So it is important to have your Google business listing correct. And so I'm here to show you how to do that. My name is Mike. I'm from Sparkler Digital, and let's get going. So there's several ways you can get your listing into Google My Business. First of all, you need to have a Google account, a Gmail account, or if your business is hosted or your domain is by Google or your email is by Google business, then you could sign up using that email. So what you're first going to do, there's a couple ways to get in. We have the traditional Google business website where you can sign in, and then it signs in through your browser. Now, if you're already logged in your browser with a particular profile, you could manage the ones you have now. Another way to do it, which a lot of people don't know, is you can actually just right-click on the map and add your business. And when it does do that, it goes directly to claiming your business. A third option is actually to type your business name in there, see if it pops up, and then basically say that you own the business. So let's look at what a business profile looks like. Now, this, as you could tell, is a pretty well-established Google My Business listing, and you can say this is ours. So it's fairly new. We've only been in business for about 6 months. So it has everything from a logo, a map, and outside of the building, a optimized name, and we'll get into that. What the service options are, the address, open hours, and everything. All these items are asked for when you're setting up your profile. You want to make sure that you fully optimize your listing. So let's start with the title. And we're going to go here. This is what it looks like when you actually manage it. So if you look here, initially I'm signed in as my personal email, but if you go over here, I'm signed in my business profile. And so I get this little dashboard here. It tells me exactly how to edit this thing. And if you look here, you want this donut to be green. So if you're missing pieces, that you will go back and try to manage that. So let's go into what they ask. So essentially, if on a business name, you make sure your business name not only includes the name of your business, but also what you do to some extent. You can't go too long in this thing. So we are Sparkler Digital, a website design and mobile app design agency. So when somebody is Googling you, that you're easy to find by all those keywords in that business name, right? And you can't stuff it with keywords. It has to be appropriate because at the end of the day, Google has to approve it and verify you. You want to then choose your business categories, and we'll go into how to do that. But if I click on here, you're basically adding all the business categories that you work with. A description, this needs to be 750 words, and this should actually say exactly what you do. And actually, this is a little short. We probably could improve this, but you have up to 750 words or words. What your opening date is, your phone number, your app, website address, your email, your physical location, and all the service areas, right? And you just add to this. And I would pick, if you have two options here, if you are a retail establishment and you have a physical address and you only service around people who come into your store, then of course this will make this service area doesn't make any sense. But if you are like us, who we basically handle people in South Florida and actually over the world, but mostly South Florida, we don't have people come to our office generally, is that we put a service area. And then all our business hours, when we're open, any kind of additional items that are important, what access you have to the building, whether you offer these services. And these don't make any sense for our business, so we don't do any of this stuff. And we add in all sorts of various information about the business, about who owns it. Two of my partners are women, so we identify as women-owned, as well as myself, of course, not a woman, but what our accessibility is, and so on, right? So all this stuff needs to be filled out, and that will create your profile strength. Now, let's get into each one individually. Um, we have, when you want to have somebody review your business, you click on this link here, and then you can email it. You can send an email, WhatsApp, or Facebook, or just frankly copy and paste and put it anywhere. Um, you This right here is called Q&A. This is very important. Q&A is, again, all this stuff. The more activity on your Google profile, the more Google sees you as being engaged in your business, and so they will start moving you up the ranks. But essentially, you can ask a question and answer it. And what happens is, if any of this comes in when somebody's doing a search, that there may be an answer that may be important as part of that search, then you will move up in the ranking. And you could all sorts of services. You just go through this, but you're going to see this profile dashboard if you own this profile. It looks like this if you don't own it, right? It's nothing. And you can basically, you just have a button. So whatever you write in here for your website in your profile is going to show up on this button here. Okay. So how do we come up with what you should put on not only your description, but also your title of your business? Well, there's special tools out there, and there's a link in the description to the tool we use, but it's called a GMB Anywhere. And so what this does is that if you put in like web developers near me, and if you look, we actually do pretty well. We're number 2. But you can see all the different categories that we put ourselves into, right? And now, you're not going to know this unless you have this installed, and you can get it for free. There's a paid version as well, but you can get it for free, and gives you certain limitations, but it'll give you some information that you can use. But you just want to make sure you're in as many Google My Business categories as possible. And if you need a little help, you can actually hit Find More, and this is a paid part of this service, but you don't necessarily need it. As this will tell you not only the various Google business titles, but also the approximate number of how many people are searching that thing on a month-to-month basis. So, for instance, if I say web designer, 301,000 people Google that term every month. Now, is it all in your area? No, it's not going to necessarily be all in your area. So, but that's okay. So you just want to make sure you match or exceed how people are doing really well near you. So, so some of our competitors, you can see, are using less, and they've been around longer. They have more reviews than we do. We've only been around, like I said, 6 months here in Florida. But eventually, at least you're above the fold. Above the fold basically means what's showing on the screen here, right? So that's the most important thing. So, couple things to optimize your results. Remember, once you've submitted your profile, Google is going to review it, and then sometimes that's 10 minutes, and sometimes that's 2 or 3 days. And once that's done, then you will show up exactly like we show here to consumers and to you. And once you're here, the key is to make sure that you update this at least once a week. You want to go in, add a new Q&A. You want to add some changes, maybe some photos. Make sure your logo's up here. That's really important. Your logo's up here because it's a fully optimized site. But if you make too many changes at once, Google is going to have to re-verify you, and sometimes this can be a bit of a pain. So I would say update sparingly. Don't update a ton of things all at once, except for the initial verification process. It's okay. But you feel free to add a Q&A. Feel free to add a photo. They're going to need to review it, though. Make sure that photo is named correctly, so that screen readers could say this is a photo of a product or whatever. You want to be able to ask for reviews on a regular basis. If you add additional services, you want to make sure they're in here. If you have products specifically. And then, of course, your performance numbers here, we can go through that in another video. But as long as you maintain this green circle here, and this is just Google's way of telling you that you're doing a good job, then you should be okay. But they like to see regular updates. If you do not update your profile for a year, you may lose it. There are, you would always get back, but sometimes your reviews will disappear. Sometimes the stuff that you put in place in the first place is gone. It becomes a little bit more difficult for you to recover some of that stuff. So you want to make sure that a couple things. You want to make sure your badge is always verified. You want to make sure that you have an engaging listing that's using proper keywords in here. So if we're a website design agency, we also develop mobile apps. It's in here. We also do SEO. It's not in here, but we could add that. But you want to make sure that you name your business and then dash what you do. Or you don't even need the dash, but just what you do. And it needs to be very, very concise. But you see, this is name of the business and a very concise description of what we do. Thank you very much for listening. And listen, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, click the notification bell, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you later.